commencement ceremony for the James Madison class. This is a big day for all of us, students, parents, family members, friends, and teachers. The class of 2022 has had anything but a smooth ride through high school, and yet here they are. They made it through COVID. They made it through a year or more of remote online schooling. They made it through lockdowns and isolation. These guys made it through. This is a tough group. This senior class, this is the group that breathed life back onto the campus after all that remote learning. This class brought back football after a year of dormancy. They brought drumline and sparks back. They brought the musical back after a year without it. They brought the senior trip back after 2 years without. These guys are the ones who brought us back. Thank you so much to the class of 2022. You are a special group in the life of the school. Okay, let's get on with the program. It gives me great pleasure and is a true honor to introduce to you our first speaker, the valedictorian of the class of 22, Malaya Keeler.
Aristotle is quoted as saying, "The more you know you don't know." And I will add, the more you want to know. The pursuit of knowledge for some can seem daunting. After all, it's a pursuit that's never fully accomplished. There's always more to learn. In my experience, learning has been nothing short of a humbling experience, and yet there's nothing quite as satisfying. Expanding the mind and becoming educated is a civic duty and, to me, a religious duty. In 7th grade, I set a goal to be valedictorian at the end of high school. Now, I didn't really know what that would entail, but I thought it was a fancy term for being the smartest person in your class. If only I knew how wrong I was. Being smart alludes to having a natural ability to learn and retain information. And in that sense, I am far from smart. Information does not come really easily to me. Even in my elementary and middle school years, I was never smart. Most of my friends were in the gifted programs or earned A's without really trying. That was not me at all. I remember in elementary school receiving my first F on a test. The test was over 3-digit division using a box method that made absolutely no sense to me at all. We moved on as a class because it clicked for everyone else. I remember going home feeling so defeated. I went to my math tutor, also known as Dad, and he patiently taught me how to solve those problems, and he gave me some practice to work through. The next week, when we went over another worksheet on the same problem, I did just fine. That experience taught me that being smart means nothing. It was working hard that ultimately determined my success. And this principle has guided me throughout my entire high school experience. Being valedictorian to me is no longer about being smart, it's about working hard. And that is more significant and most valuable. Mrs. Schilling has a quote on her wall by Stephen King that says, "Talent is cheaper than table salt. What separates the talented individual from the successful one is a lot of hard work." I have adapted that to my educational experience, but it can apply anywhere. Hard work is of value in any field, profession, sport, or hobby. I am immensely grateful to my parents for imploring me as I have grown up, "Malaya, we want you to be a hard worker. Doesn't matter if you're doing the dishes or studying for a test." In general, though, my parents have been hugely instrumental in helping me achieve my goals and supporting me with whatever I've needed. Thank you, Dad, for reading over my essays and helping me with those math problems. And thank you, Mom, for making my breakfasts on the mornings when I just didn't have time. Thank you for staying up late to quiz me over information or helping me go through flashcards so I could feel confident for an exam. Thank you both so much. I'm also grateful to my siblings who oftentimes volunteered to do my chores so I could squeeze in some extra study time, as they knew that that was important to me. I'm grateful to my extended family for paving the way in their examples of prioritizing and valuing education. I have such an incredible family. I'm grateful to my friends and teachers who helped me manage my stress this year, and I appreciate the prayers and support of my church leaders and seminary leaders. Thank you. But I wouldn't be true to myself if I didn't acknowledge the most important person to me throughout this journey. I'm grateful to God for strengthening me. I know I could not have made it here without his guiding hand. And to the class of 2022, congratulations. We did it. We made it to the end of our high school experience. Look at how much we've accomplished just in the last 4 years. Think about all the days we've spent learning, laughing together, stressing over projects, writing papers, studying, and sometimes cramming for tests, finishing assignments, and now it all comes to a close. I want to wish each and every one of you success and happiness in this next chapter of your life. This year, I can honestly say that I've grown to love all of you, and I will truly miss each one of you. To my teachers and the entire staff of James Madison Preparatory School, thank you. Thank you for creating curricula, grading tests, reading papers, and assigning homework. Thank you for creating an environment where curiosity and questions are welcomed and praised. Thank you for inspiring us to develop our love of learning. Thank you for your advice and wise counsel to us. And thank you for your selfless service and sacrifice, because that's truly what teaching is. I speak on behalf of all of my classmates when I say emphatically, thank you. James Madison Preparatory School has given us so much opportunity. I love this school, quirks and all. I love the amazing students, supportive parents, my wonderful classmates, friends and family, and these beloved teachers. It has truly been an amazing journey. Thank you.
Okay, now we come to what I like to call the creamy center of the program. This is the senior recognition. Individual teachers will talk about individual students, and we always begin over here, and over here is always Mrs. Schilling. Take it away.
Today, the first senior that I would like to speak about is Grace Lee. Grace Lee joined James Madison as a sophomore, and she quickly found her place amongst her peers in the class of 2022. We are grateful that Grace chose us and became a JMPS Patriot, but we wish we had more time with her, as she is a wonderful student and person. I first taught Grace online for psychology last year, and when reading the essay portion of her first test, I thought to myself, who is this young woman? For although Grace was very quiet in our online Google Meet sessions, it was obvious that Grace had a lot of substance to say. With every piece of writing that Grace submitted, I got to know her bit by bit. And what emerged from those writings was a profile of an intelligent, wonderful, and warm young woman who was the perfect fit for our school community. It turns out that Grace does have a lot to say, and I'm grateful that I've gotten to know her even better this year. Grace is straightforward, but never disrespectful. Mrs. Schilling, I do not like this. For some reason, I have that still echoing in my head. Grace is a good and loyal friend. She is quick to offer help when someone is in need. She is smart, she is responsible, she is kind, she is helpful, and she is actually very funny. I love seeing Grace's face light up when she laughs. And I especially enjoy when Grace uses sarcasm, which is not unkind, but it always hits the mark. Grace is planning to study interior design at Northern Arizona University. Her combination of intelligence with a keen eye for detail and creativity will take her far in this field and anywhere else that life takes her. Grace, I will truly miss you next year, but I'm so grateful I've gotten to know you and discover what an inquisitive, genuine, and lovely person you are. You have much to offer the world. I'm excited to see what the future holds for you. Go forward and be confident and show the whole world the Grace Lee that we know and love. Congratulations, Grace. Come on up. Can I have a hug? The second senior I'll be speaking of, if you are part of the senior class, you know I can't speak about Grace without also speaking about Ava Hoffman. Ava is one of several graduates who has attended James Madison Preparatory School since 7th grade. In her time at JMPS, Ava has shown herself to be a good student, but also so much more. It has been a pleasure watching her grow and mature into the confident and intelligent young woman who is graduating today. Grace is fierce. Ava. I knew I'd make a mistake at some point. Ava is fierce. Ava is competitive. And anyone who has ever watched Ava Hoffman on the volleyball court has seen this in action. Off the court, Ava brings that same intensity into her work in the classroom. She sets high standards for herself and works tirelessly to achieve them. I got to know Ava very well this year, largely thanks to our shared love for psychology. We had many wonderful conversations about human nature and life in general. These conversations afforded me a glimpse into the true nature of Ava. Ava is a woman of substance. Ava's observant. Very little gets past her. She's a deep thinker and a no-nonsense kind of person. Ava's character and straightforward demeanor earned her the position of Chief Justice on our student court this year. She was the perfect choice for this appointment as she has a maturity beyond her years. Ava has known she wants to have a career in psychology since she was very young. Maybe, 7th grade perhaps? It's been a long time, I know. It's no surprise to me that Ava plans to study psychology at Northern Arizona University next year with a long-term goal of working in psychological research. Ava will be able to use her observant nature, intellect, and problem-solving skills to further science by unlocking the mysteries of the mind. Ava, I have truly enjoyed getting to know you and working with you this year. You're full of potential and energy and intelligence. But remember this, please, that the life that you have ahead of you is a marathon and not a sprint. Take the time to enjoy all that you've accomplished so far, as well as to enjoy and appreciate the adventure that waits following graduation. I'm so proud of all you've accomplished this year, Ava, and I know it is only the beginning. Congratulations.
Well, about a month ago, I presented an assembly that encouraged the students to take advantage of the wide variety of activities available to them at JMPS. Well, one of our graduating seniors certainly did not need any more encouragement. There have been very few school activities in which Andrea Recchi did not participate at some point during her high school career. She has demonstrated to the underclassmen the many benefits of being involved in the school. Andrea took full advantage of her time here. She studied hard and performed well in her classes, but she also put a lot of time and energy into a variety of school activities. Andrea participated in athletics like soccer, volleyball, and Sparks. She participated in artistic activities like ukulele, the school plays, and school musicals. Her stage performances culminated in her wonderful portrayal of Nancy's friend, Bet, in this spring's musical production of Oliver. She developed leadership skills by participating in student government, including serving her community as vice president. Andrea also developed her technical abilities by participating in robotics and working tech in several stage productions. But that is not all. In addition, Andrea competed on the chess team, worked on yearbook, and served the community as a member of the Green Group. Is it any wonder that Andrea won a School Spirit Award this year? I'd like to point out that many of the activities in which Andrea participated over the years have been in service to her community. Indeed, her community service extends beyond the confines of JMPS. She has served the larger community by working with Hospice of the Valley and the New Song Center. One constant throughout high school has been Andrea's desire to pursue a nursing career. It stands to reason, then, that Andrea's sense of service to her community will continue as she goes on to study nursing at the University of Arizona. I have confidence that her passion and talent, she will excel there. Just give me a moment, please. Andrea, I am so proud and grateful to have had you in my homeroom the last 4 years. Malaya, I blame you for starting this. You have been a tremendous asset to the entire JMPS community. I think the skills and self-awareness you've learned here will serve you well in college and beyond. You should be very proud of your accomplishments. Thank you for everything, Andrea. Congratulations.
It is the quietest among us that so often pass unnoticed. Sometimes the quiet ones are looking for peace, or perhaps they are desirous of hiding from something in the world. And that's okay. But others, they are calm and workmanlike because that is their nature. Their hard work and dedication become the fabric of who they are. And without people like this, very little would be accomplished. They do not look for, nor do they need external validation. I don't think this senior would describe himself as quiet. I don't even think it matters to him enough to worry about an arbitrary categorization such as quiet. But I would describe him as having a dedication to doing things the right way. Nathan Landry has an unflappable calmness about him, and he displays a, yes, quiet competence in everything he does. Others describe Nathan as having heart, and I would agree wholeheartedly with this assessment. His classmates like having him around. I think we all do. I have never heard him say, I can't, I won't, I'd rather not. He doesn't say it's too hard. He just does the things he's supposed to do, and he does them very well. His response when asked to leap is more on the order of how high. And how high can Nathan soar? I don't think anyone knows where that ceiling is, and Nathan, I hope you continue to look upwards to fulfill all of your dreams, because you are so very capable of going as far as you wish to go. As you move forward and find the direction that suits your skills, I'm going to bet that you will leap very high indeed. Nathan Landry. Congratulations. We talk a lot about the future when we stand up here. And when you see the quality of the people sitting here in the front row, I think it's obvious why. And I will not deviate from that path. But for the next senior that I get to speak about, not only is she ready for the future, she is the future. She's a person that we need for the future. And I'm not engaging in hyperbole here, though I have been accused of this in the past. We need her to be her. Malaya Keeler is a person of absolute dependability, and that's capitalized because she is the definition of dependability. And when a student of her drive and ability also happens to be the kindest, warmest, and most caring person ever, you know you're in the presence of that rare person who will be able to go out into the world and make a true and lasting difference. I could go on, so I will. Malaya is the valedictorian of her class, and she is in the National Honor Society, so her academic prowess is well established. She is also the outgoing student body president and has served on the students' court as well. But her skill set does not end with these important endeavors. She's been in sparks, tap, chess, and robotics. She can play the ukulele. And you know what else? As if that wasn't enough, she's a gifted actor and an amazing singer. If you saw her delightful performances in so many of the JMPS theater productions, including Chicago and Miss Congeniality, and then as the female lead in both Oliver and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, didn't mess that one up, you witnessed something truly special. When news in the world is difficult, or when we feel down, or feel like the troubles and issues facing society are insurmountable, there is true solace to be found when we know that people like Malaya are here and more than up to these challenges. She'll be heading to BYU after her high school graduation, and after a year will then be going on her mission. And I know that she will continue on the successful path that she has begun to travel. Malaya, please keep your cheerful demeanor and your hopeful outlook. It might be hard at times, but those qualities will stand you in good stead and lead you to find everything that you are looking for. I hope that you have 5 times the success that you have ever imagined possible. Malaya Keeler. Congratulations.
It's a hot mic. Caleb, as you sit here in a cap and gown, I'm reminded of you in my very first homeroom. Since that 8th grade year, you have been an enthusiastic supporter of this campus, of your homeroom, and of your friends. Caleb doesn't look for fame or glory, but he is always willing to quietly lend a helping hand. Even as an 8th grader, he was happy to staple tablecloths, clean up bits of paper, and do whatever the homeroom needed. He doesn't look for flashy, high-profile jobs. If something needs to be done, someone needs help, Caleb is there, and he is humble. Except for when he has perfect CS at 10 minutes at esports practice, and then some minor bragging may ensue. Caleb has been involved in track and field, chess team, the musical, ukulele, and esports in his time at JMPS. In every one of these activities, he has been pushed out of his comfort zone, and as a result has grown as a musician, a performer, and an athlete. I am especially impressed by his commitment in the musical this year. I remember multiple conversations backstage about his bruised rib cage, but when I suggested that he fall in a less painful way, Caleb said, "But then it won't look as good." What can I say? Caleb was committed to doing his best to make the show a good one. As the esports coach, I have to thank Caleb for his indispensable role in the creation of the JMPS League of Legends team. When I sent out the survey in 2021, I was hoping, praying that someone would have experience in the game. Caleb's response? I have over 1,000 hours in the game, so I'd say I'm pretty experienced, and I'm all in for playing it. From the very first day, I depended on him to step up, teach mechanics, run practices, and explain the game both to the team and to me, because I had never played before either. Caleb didn't shirk the responsibility. He stepped up, taught, demoed, encouraged, made everyone on the team never want to play against a Seraphine, ever, and effectively communicated a love of the game that was infectious. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I cannot imagine that first season or JMPS esports without Caleb's support and involvement. Caleb seeks to listen and help whenever he can. He seeks to respond to others with empathy and humor. I've gotten to see this firsthand as he's shared his love of League with the team, but I also know that his friends, family, and teammates benefit from this care. He intends to attend U of A and major in nursing, and I'm not surprised that he seeks to make caring deeply not only a defining character trait, but also a career. Caleb, I wish you all the best in college and beyond. I hope that your intention to help and care for those around you only grows with time. And I hope you won't mind if I continue to ask you my confused League of Legends questions. Caleb Hush. Since her first day of 7th grade, Dominique has made her presence known on campus. She has a loud and active personality and can be found conversing in the gazebos, chatting with classmates, or greeting teachers on her way to wherever she is rushing. Dominique has a smile that lights up the room, and you don't have to guess if she's entertained by something. She will tell you with her grin and her laugh. She is always conversational and is eager to share a story, a fact, a tidbit of information. Especially on the senior trip, even after long days, she was happy to share a memory about visiting DC as a kid, a story about plans for the summer, or a funny anecdote about almost anything. I'm so glad that Dominique takes so much joy in experiencing things. In our digital age, there's an unfortunate tendency to rely on the internet for our adventures. Why go to the Louvre when you can look at the whole collection online? But Dominique doesn't fall victim to this thinking. She wants to do stuff, wants to be places and soak it all in. Dominique, I hope that your joy and experience never leaves you, and that as you mature, you continue to pursue those adventures and prioritize experiencing amazing things. On this year's senior trip, we all benefited from how phenomenally prepared Dominique is. When everyone went to Walmart to get basic supplies, Dominique came back with a tissue box for the van. When we got to the first battlefield, she offered everyone extra bug spray. When a classmate got a tick that needed removal with tweezers, Dominique made a point to get us 2 sets of tweezers at the next Walmart so that should the situation arise again, we would be prepared. Dominique's prepared and helpful nature extends beyond just adventures on the East Coast. I have often heard her offer a classmate a pencil or a red pen or a highlighter, or a marker. If you need it, Dominique probably has it, and has an extra of it. And don't worry, she's willing to share. Dominique is a confident young woman. She doesn't shy away from a spirited conversation, especially when she feels strongly about the topic at hand. She's always willing to speak up for what she thinks is right and let everyone know her reasons. She is self-assured and is unapologetically herself. In her time at JMPS, she has been involved in Sparks, the musicals, volleyball, basketball, and choir, and has brought her enthusiasm and personality to them all. During her years at JMPS, she has also grown in the code of conduct, especially in her gratitude, her amiability, and her self-reliance, traits that I hope only continue to flourish as she leaves our community. Dominique, as you launch from high school, I hope that you seek to learn new things, expand your horizons, and continue to be the joyful, positive, confident young lady that we have all gotten to know you as. I wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors. Dominique Sauer.
I'm prepared. I'm going to cry, FYI, okay? So, memories are a big part of what a JMPS graduation is. And I would like to share some memories that I have of a very special graduate. She has been with us since her ninth grade year, and she has created many lasting memories. And what memories come to mind when I think about Izzy Knudsen? Well, see? Okay. Honestly, I haven't known her for a long time, but I've been very lucky to know her since last year. Okay, I can do this. And I have a lot of very fond memories of her. During the difficult COVID year, I remember her being one of the first people in online classes. Honestly, she was always with a smile, which was weird. It was lovely, but it was concerning at times. When we finally returned to classes, I remember seeing her having lunch with her sister, laughing with friends, and simply talking and enjoying life. I also remember her being viciously attacked by a moth 2 days in a row. What did you do to that moth? That's a lie. I also remember her hellos and her goodbyes, always, every single day, which is rare. Don't lose that, please. She's just polite and a nice person to be around. I also remember her laughter and her inquisitive nature, both inside and outside of the school. I'm sorry, I talk with my hands. I also remember her trying to win Simon Says with my very small senior class. The 4 of you are laughing because I know what I'm talking about. It's one of the days that I laughed the most and that I snorted the most, not that I like that part. Easy, you might not realize it, but you grew leaps and bounds, especially in this senior year of yours. It's amazing, and it makes us amazingly proud of you. As the days went by, we were able to see you being more confident in yourself, in who you are, showing more of that very unique humor that you have that I like, and being one of the biggest contributors to my, let's call it, tea bar. It's nicer that way. I honestly don't know what the future has for you, but there are a few things that I do know. I'm going to count them. Your compassion will take you places, and it's going to bring goodness in your life. Your goofiness and your ability to laugh at life is more admired than you know. If anyone ever wants to mess up with you, I'm pretty sure they will have a hard time. And the people that have you in their lives are so very lucky, and they might not know it. So for all of you, you're lucky, okay? The future is an open path. It's not really set, but whatever the future holds, I'm certain that it's going to be full of light, humor, and compassion. Congrats, Izzy.
Once said, a person's true character is only revealed in times of hardship. Many are able to maintain the facade, put on a brave face, but when times get tough, you often see them for who they really are. If you're lucky enough to find a person whose character only grows during adversity, then you found someone special. We all knew Cassie Brewer, a gentle soul, supportive friend, a truly enthusiastic spirit. In her time at JMPS, she grew tremendously. She grew into someone that I could count on. When the yahoos in the homeroom couldn't get their act straight during homeroom decorating, I could always count on Cassie. Cassie suffered no fools. And I knew she was always ready for softball season, even if it was basketball season. She had her glove ready. She was ready to go. But as the people in the Schaefer homeroom found out, Cassie was a great friend. She was there for them. She was a shoulder to cry on. She gained a lot in the JMPS community, but more importantly, she gave back. Even if it were just her smile, she gave back. When unimaginable tragedy befell her and her family, Cassie persevered. Her true character shone through the darkness for all of us to see. Cassie's strength, her spirit, and yes, her smile were an inspiration to our community. She carried on this senior year. Even when circumstances prevented us from having a softball team, there was Cassie with her glove, ready to play. Cassie, your strength of character and heart will serve you in whatever path you choose. I had the pleasure of walking the grounds of Monticello with you this year. I could tell that you were inspired. Remember what Jefferson said, I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. Cassie, shine on into your future. Cassie Burr. When was the last time you really enjoyed something? I mean really enjoyed it, without worries of appearances. The old cliche tells us to dance like no one is watching. But how many of us ever really do that? I can tell you this evening that all of us here have had the pleasure of knowing that guy. His name is Devin Sparks. It is so rare to see a young person enjoy life unconditionally. Too often these days, young people are too wrapped up in their self-interests. They're too cynical. They have conditions for their fun, for their enjoyment. Usually because they want something. Devin just enjoys life. Whatever he does, he enjoys it. I think everyone here who knows him understands that Devin could have fun at an insurance seminar. When his curiosity is piqued, he consumes information with relish. I watched this firsthand this year as he took up chess. And he grabbed it and he absorbed it. He got better. He played himself to be one of the best players on our team. He qualified for the state tournament. Sometimes he played a little too much chess. But that's just an example of that spirit he has. As an educator, you hope to have students like Devin. It's a pleasure to watch them mature. And Devin did just that at JMPS. JMPS helped him understand the value of an education, the value of participation. And he gave back to our community. Everyone here can say without question that his enthusiasm, his energy was infectious. On the senior trip, on those long walks on the battlefield, despite the insect problems, Devin was always out in front. Some might say he's difficult. But people like that, people who seek to avoid the company of a person like that, I think they're truly missing out. I think that says more about them than it does about Devin. Devin's the kind of guy that you want to have near you because you know he's going to enjoy whatever's going on around you. Truth is, Devin, life is a dance. And people are always watching. Keep dancing, my friend. In all you do, that infectious energy will serve you well. Keep dancing, my friend. You're off to a great start. Devin Sparks.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. George, where were you, man? We needed you here. Maybe you weren't ready to be a Madison Patriot. Maybe arriving in the fall of 2021 was providential and exactly what was supposed to happen for you and the school. No matter. I'm glad you arrived when you did. The entire school community is glad you arrived when you did. I've been blessed over the years to work with a dozen or so very special young people whose dedication to service and helping others, helping all around them, is a pervasive and positive trait. Helping and serving and working, it's just who they are. They are humble, they take initiative, they are grateful, they work so very hard, often without thanks or acknowledgement. George, you are on this very short list. And you have been since I met you about 11 months ago. In so many ways, you are an exemplary Madison Prep Patriot. Your self-reliance and competence in so many fields, your desire to learn, to protect, to take initiative, to see the problem, and to begin to solve it. And to do all that with a smile and helping hands and just get it done. You are incredible. I'm thrilled and very proud to know that you are going to continue on your quest to become a firefighter. George is a real wilderness guy, a man after my own heart in that way, for certain. Your love and knowledge of the outdoors and advanced fieldcraft is matchless. Your preparedness quotient is very high, George. It's very high. I'm giving you a multi-tool, George. But you truly do not need a multi-tool. A, you already have like 27 of them. B, you are a walking, talking, working, thinking multi-tool. George, teach others. You are gentle, humorous, insistent, nicely insistent, infectious, and you have a great sense of humor. It's weird. I know a lot of firefighters, police officers, Marines, all of them have that weird sense of humor, George. You've got that, George. Again, over the years, I've spoken about a few young people on the very special occasion of a Madison Prep graduation who are so ready for life. You are exactly such a person. I'm proud to know you, honored to have been your teacher, a little pissed that I only got to be your teacher in one class, George. One. I'm hopeful for the world's future with you launching into it. God help them. Thank you for choosing to be a Madison Prep patriot. George Robinson.
Mr. B and I are giving the students a gift. We do this every year. I give books and he gives the multi-tool. 3 books this year. One is The Generals, talking about Patton, MacArthur, and George Marshall. And then the Federalist Papers. And then a book that has the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence in it. So it's a good load for them to take home tonight. They've earned it. I have the distinct pleasure today to talk about Alan Dutcher. Alan is faced with a great number of challenges in his life, often when a person has a variety of challenges stacking up on him, it can be quite natural for that person to pull back, recede into himself, and focus on the me, the big I, the self. Never mind about other people, I got problems. Well, Alan is not that way. No, sir. Despite his challenges, Alan is always interested in other people and their well-being. And when I say always, I mean every single day. How does he do this? I honestly do not know. His generosity of spirit is world class, and frankly, it's deeply humbling to behold. His amiability is real, his friendliness genuine. He was chosen by the faculty as the winner of the 3rd trimester Code of Conduct Award for amiability. It was an easy choice. If we only gave out Code of Conduct Awards every 4 years, Alan would win amiability hands down, with little to no faculty discussion necessary. He is in a different league. Because he's a friend to others, not merely friendly, He makes other people's day better just by being around, simply by being there, just by being. This is an incredible gift. Would that it were all people had such a gift and then shared it as Alan shares his so freely. When he asks you how you're doing, he's not just being nice. He means it. He wants to know. When he asks you what your upcoming plans are, he wants to know. And even when he's not having a great day himself, he will ask you about yours, and he will truly want to know. He will make your day better, even if his own is a dud. Remarkable. He cares. He really cares. And it has been my honor and privilege to know him and to be cared about by him. Alan, congratulations, my friends, and come on up. There are a select few people on this earth who embody what it means to be fully human, to be a decent, wise, kind, intelligent, and beautiful person. Ugliness abounds all over. And I don't mean physical ugliness. I am talking about on the inside. You needn't look far to find inner ugliness in, oh, so many people. Jealousy, greed, anger, selfishness, you know the list. It has always been thus. But in today's race-to-the-bottom culture and ever-splintering society, it seems this ugliness is on the rise. So, when you're lucky enough to get to know someone who is a study in what it means to be human in the best sense, stop and savor it. Watch and learn. Cherish and emulate. For the last 18 years, I have gotten to know just such a person. I number myself among the supremely lucky who have gotten to know Abby Schaefer. It's hard for JMPS to take much credit for the wonderfulness that is Abby. She is an old soul who came to us seemingly fully formed. Her generosity, her wisdom, her humor, her love, all intact upon arrival. In a case like this, I'd be inclined to give the credit to her parents, but I've met her parents. Giving them credit for Abby is crazy talk. Kidding, of course. Abby's parents are wonderful and have done an outstanding job raising her. But Abby deserves much of the credit herself, too. The sound judgment she has, the endless patience she shows others, her genuine desire to help, her strong sense of responsibility, the incredible depths of her insight. Abby is as deep as an ocean. All housed inside one person, This is remarkable. When that person is only 18, well, that's nothing short of a miracle. For me, however, the one aspect of Abby that I've always appreciated, perhaps more than any other, is her amazing sense of perspective. Abby gets it. She knows what matters and what just doesn't. She doesn't get riled. She doesn't freak out. She doesn't get fazed. I love this so much. If the world were peopled with more level-headed types who don't get steamed at every juncture, that's a world that interests me. Abby Schaefer is a beautiful human being, period. I am and always have been privileged to know her. Anyone who really knows her feels the same. I dare say if everyone in this country would take on board for him or herself some characteristic of Abby, I have no doubt that the ugliness running rampant out there would be significantly diminished, and the love, goodness, caring, wisdom, and humanity in the world would go sky high. Abby, you made it. Congrats. Now it's time to share yourself with this weary world, which needs you so, so much. Well, that concludes the senior recognition portion of the program. Now we'll see if any seniors forget to take their gifts home. That does happen, you know, pretty much every year. That's no lie. So who's it going to be this year? My money is on Malaya. Probably already read those books. Now, before we move on to the presentation of diplomas, I would like to take a few minutes to talk about a couple of very special people. As I'm sure you all know, both Mr. Grant and Mr. B are retiring from education starting tomorrow. I believe it proper that I, their fellow director and member of the triumvirate, say a little something about both men. People often say, use your brains, use your head. Paul Grant has been using his head here ever since he joined JMPS in year 2 in the fall of 2001. He has thought of ideas, thought through problems, and thought of solutions by the dozen every year. But while thinking and using your head is essential for a school official, what has always set Mr. Grant apart from the typical school official is how wonderfully he would use his heart. Paul has one of the biggest hearts I have ever come across in my life. His love for all the Madison Prep students, going all the way back to 2001, has always been genuine and sweet. His deep well of emotion and love for young people is inspiring. To know Paul Grant is to understand the heart of a teacher. As you all recall, or at least know, the school year in the fall of 2001 was profoundly impacted by the events of 9/11, just as everyone was. It happened only 1 month into Paul's tenure with us, and even though he was a brand new teacher, with us, the compassion and love and support he gave to our confused and frightened students that day was striking. To see him open his room up and invite any and all students to come in to watch those horrible events as they unfolded, and then gently explain things to them and counsel them, was truly something to behold. Everyone was gripped with horror and uncertainty that day, no doubt including Paul. But his calmness and assuredness did much to settle those young people down. His big heart really mattered that day. And that big heart of his has been beating for our students ever since. I love this man, and we will miss him immensely. I've had the great honor of working alongside of him for over 20 years, and I will cherish the memories of all we've been through together and what we've created together. I will miss his solid good sense. I will miss his laugh. I will miss his steadying hand. I will miss his optimism. I will miss his sense of humor. I will miss his presence at school events. I will miss our many, many discussions over countless breakfasts of eggs and bacon. I will miss his deep understanding of the school's mission. I will miss his heart. Paul, good luck to you as you move on to your next endeavor. Always know that you've helped create and run a place of education, a place of caring and nurturing young people, a place that opened the world up to members of the next generation, a place where young people were taught and shown simply how to be. You will be missed, and thank you, thank you, thank you, many millions of times over. Mr. Paul Grant. Before I begin talking about my brother, Mr. B, I need to address the students in the room. Will those of you who are playing in the match this afternoon move your clothes down onto the lower peg immediately after lunch? Before you write your letter home, if you're not getting your hair cut, unless you've got a younger sibling who's going out this weekend as the guest of another student, in which case, collect his note before lunch, put it in your letter after you've had your haircut, and make sure he moves your clothes down onto the lower peg for you. Yes, Smith. I do wish you'd listen, Smith. It's perfectly simple. If you're not getting your hair cut, you don't have to move your brother's clothes down to the lower peg. You simply collect his note before lunch after you've done your scripture prep. When you've written your letter home before rest, move your own clothes onto the lower peg, greet the visitors, and report to Mr. Pond that you've had your chit signed. Now can I get on to Mr. B? That little skit there, while probably bizarre to most and entirely random to all, was really just for an audience of one, Mr. B. If you know Monty Python and their movie, The Meaning of Life, then perhaps you recognized it. But I doubt that includes many of you. Mr. B most certainly recognized it, obviously. And thank you, Noah Smith, for helping me with it.
I was going to do that.
Now for the connective tissue between Monty Python and Mr. B and the school. Here's a little secret. One of the reasons we started the school, among other reasons, was as an attempt to share with the younger generations the brilliance and humor of Monty Python. We wanted young people to get the jokes, the highbrow humor, as well as the low. Monty Python is the gold standard for comedy, and if you doubt that, you can ask just about any comedian out there. They will confirm. So, if our students are able to understand Monty Python's jokes, then our students are educated, and that part of our mission is accomplished. So for my brother and me, when the high school play was Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail back in the fall of 2009, well, that was a mountaintop moment for us and the school. King Arthur is right in the back row, right there. Give us a wave, King of the Britons. Mr. K. We also have several characters from that show over here in the middle over here. Miss Bruner. Well, we've had many mountaintop moments through these last 22 years. My brother and I have had the great honor and joy of leading our students in many different ways, in many different arenas, and sharing in their successes. We've also been responsible for consoling them when they stumble, which is itself an honor. But our work together at JMPS has come to a close. Now, I've thought a lot about what I'm going to say next. I've wrestled with whether I should say it. I have not discussed any of what I'm about to say with Mr. B or anyone else. And I stress what I'm about to say is my opinion, purely my opinion, honest, unvarnished. I've shared it with no one, but now I'm going to share it with all of you and with all of you. Mr. B's departure from JMPS is, as of tonight, a done thing. But, in my opinion, it is an unnatural event. His exit in this way was never part of the plan, not at his age and relative good health. I see it as another casualty of COVID, but not in any sort of straightforward way. Let me explain. Every year, for 22 years, Mr. B has been the face of the school. He's been out there interfacing with the public, be it the government, the parents, or the community at large. My experience has been quite different. I'm a behind-the-scenes guy. Our partnership has worked in this way for 22 years. And for 22 years, the vast majority of our parent population has been entirely supportive. Entirely. But in every one of those 22 years, there has also been a small handful of parents who have complained and moaned and complained, often falsely accusing us of all manner of bad intent. And Dave has had to take the brunt of that, year in and year out, for 22 years. And he's done one hell of a job. His skin is extremely thick, quite necessarily. Well, when COVID hit, we, along with everybody, were flung into a completely unknown world, a world ruled by a completely unknown virus. And yet, that small handful of parents somehow expected us to have all the answers, apparently expecting us to suddenly become expert virologists and epidemiologists, which we are not. But the complaints and accusations continued and increased and increased, and it got crazy. So fast forward to now and the situation we have today, one of a man who is voluntarily walking away from his creation, his baby, his life's work, JMPS, because he has been relentlessly pummeled to death. I do not blame him for bowing down and leaving. I'm sure there are large parts of him that would like to stay, but he has been worn down and is worn out. And it pains me to see him go, more than I can ever say. But what I will say is this: I love you, Dave, and thank you. Thank you for everything you've done to make JMPS what it is. Thank you for the endless hours of work you've done that no one will ever know. Thank you for taking on this crazy life with me. We have accomplished amazing things. You have accomplished amazing things. Never forget what you did here. The echoes of it will reverberate on and on far into future generations. With respect to the future of JMPS, I have great hope and confidence that the future will be bright as long as we have that vast majority of supportive parents, as long as we have teachers and students who are ready, willing, and able to work, as long as we all appreciate what a very special place James Madison Preparatory School is. And as Monty Python would now say, now for something completely different. It's time for the presentation of diplomas. Cassandra Marie Brewer. Alan Dean Dutcher. Caleb Ryan Hosh. Ava Grace Lewis Hoffman. Malaya Keeler. Isabel May Knutson. Revoking that diploma. Nathan James Landry. Grace Catherine Lee. Andrea Isabel Retke. George Andrew Robinson. Dominique May Lee Sauer. Abigail Victoria Schaefer. I knew it. Yeah, I knew it. Devin Jacob Sparks. All right, if you would come into position so people can get pictures. I think we're going this way, yep. It is my high honor and great privilege to introduce to you for the first time the James Madison Preparatory School Class of 2022 graduates.